very interested in learning more about this Physician CEO program, and I understand you had a lot to do with its development. Please tell us about it.
Well, thank you, Mary. The Physician CEO program was developed in collaboration with Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University. It's a program designed specifically to give leadership and finance, marketing, and operations skills to physicians so that they can resume their proper role as leaders of medicine.
Do you think that most physicians need that rather than just being at their offices and managing their practices?
Well, we have a world of change happening in medicine today. The overtake of medicine by government, the increased bureaucratization of it, all of this has happened really with physicians out with not being part of the conversation. We've been marginalized. And I don't think many physicians think it's been good for patients. As a result, a lot of physicians are finding themselves in an awkward spot of not understanding the system they're working in, and they need more skills to be able to interact with the system. Our program, though, is specifically designed to help physicians capture what is the largest and fastest growing part of medicine today, which is the cash pay sector. It's going to increasingly grow at a faster pace with demographics and with reimbursed care driving people toward cash pay. Physicians who understand business, who understand how to position their practice, are going to be the best positioned to capture that growth and to contribute to that growth.
That makes sense. Can you tell us a little bit more about the time commitment? Because we're all very busy physicians.
Sure. One of the challenges for all physicians is time. And this program was developed specifically for physicians. It's the only program of its kind. There are a lot of programs that even Kellogg offers for health management so that you can go run a hospital or interact with ICD-10 coding. But to be an entrepreneurial physician, to be involved in cash pay, it's very unusual. So we designed the program for physicians who are currently in practice. We have 4 5-day sessions that are spaced about 10 weeks apart. Each one runs from Saturday to Wednesday afternoon. You're out of there in time. From Chicago, you can fly anywhere in a day, and you can be at your office on Thursday and Friday. So you're never out of your office for a full week, and we've spaced them so that you can plan in advance so that your calendar won't be too disrupted by having to attend. And we've structured this very carefully to respect the busy schedules of the physicians.
So Guy, you know, my feeling about this is that doctors have tended to not even be able to conceptualize what they're offering to their patients. In other words, we're service providers and we're trading intellectual property. And in fact, because they can't conceive of what they're doing and because of an historic risk aversion, they've never been able to cozy up with the whole idea that they actually are entrepreneurs in business delivering a service for some type of payment. And in fact, tell us how you came to this notion globally about, you know, educating physicians in a way they haven't traditionally been educated.
Well, physicians for years have been told, oh, don't worry about the money, doctor. We'll take care of it.
Yes.
All the time while medicine has become this huge, huge industry. And in fact, you can track the growth of the cost of medicine to the intrusion of MBAs in the CEO offices of hospitals and insurance companies. It's because physicians stepped aside and gave leadership over to these people. We don't like to be wrong. Physicians are physicians because we are trained and have knowledge, and people come to us for that knowledge. So when a businessman comes and starts using fancy jargon and embarrasses us because we can't respond, we tend to go silent rather than argue what really is a very simple point. Most business concepts are very straightforward concepts. So really a lot of this program, if there was one word, you said, what is one word that you can describe what will happen to a physician who goes through this program? It's empowerment.
Yes.
Empowerment. It's giving physicians the tools and the skills that they need, the language, the concepts, the strategy, negotiations, leadership, finance, marketing, all the topics that are the core topics of any MBA program, but in a compressed, accelerated time frame that allows them to access that information in a schedule that works for them, and in the room only with other physicians in cash pay medicine.
So in a way, what you're saying is knowledge is power, and don't be afraid of being able to make a living and understand that others are trying to make a living off of the fruits of your labor.
All of the value creation in medicine happens either at the pen or the hand of a physician. And yet, that value is distributed among so many parties, most of whom don't add value to the process or for the patient. And the result is that the physicians have seen declining reimbursements and declining incomes year after year after year. It's upside down. What we have to restore is to have the entire system exist for the patients. The current system benefits the customer very well. The only problem is The patient's not the customer. The customer is the insurance company. It's the hospital. It's the doctor. It's the pharma company. It's the government, not the patient. So those parties make out very well. They've all seen their share of the pie, their pie grow enormously. And yet, physicians and patients, not so much. In fact, patients, I think, have been marginalized even more than physicians have. So what this program attempts to do is to rewrite the ship and make it where the physician can impose their values on the way that medicine is delivered and on the practice so that patients will benefit at every step.
What are the components that a physician who signs up for this program at Kellogg is going to walk away with?
This program is explicitly entrepreneurial and very, very practical. Every module is designed so that the physician will be able to take home what happened in that module, or many things, and immediately apply them. The preparation time between hand is actually pretty minimal. There'll be a little bit of reading, but much of it will be done by the practice's managers. Remember that a CEO is not a manager. We're not training physicians to be managers. We're training physicians to be leaders. The managers will work for them. They need to know what the managers are doing and be able to supervise them. But the physicians are the CEO. So they'll begin that CEO role at the very first module, and they'll begin to delegate some of the activities that help prepare for the next module to their managers.
So we're going to drill down in a very pragmatic way in marketing, finance, sales perhaps, and be able to say, hey, here's who you are, this is the benchmark, this is where you are relative to the benchmark, this is what you can do to improve.
Absolutely, and one of the most interesting things that I've experienced, because I've been in a few of these physician courses now, we did some test runs running up to this, we've done surveys, we've done all kinds of work to try to understand what is the content that's appropriate for this audience. We don't want to teach them things they already know. We want to bring them further from where they start. Well, one of the things that was, I guess you could expect it in retrospect, but it's that physicians can absorb material much faster than any other group that Kellogg has seen. So they can put out the information in a compressed format, and we catch all of it. And as a result, we can bring people from zero, I don't know the difference between a debit and a credit, all the way to applying the financial analysis in a strategic way to their practice in a very short period of time. None of these concepts are difficult. It's kind of like when you're in medical school. There was no one specific fact that was so difficult. There were just a lot of facts. Mm-hmm. And the good thing about being us is that we can absorb a lot of facts very quickly. And this program is designed exactly to promote that and to allow physicians to capture what they need so that they can go home and no longer be intimidated, but be in control and provide leadership in their practice.
So you've mentioned several times entrepreneurship, cash-based practices, the growth of a non-third-party reimbursement system in the U.S. And what if I was a doctor who had some component of insurance in my practice? Am I going to benefit from going to your course?
That's a great question, and absolutely. Whether we plan to or not, all physicians are going to be doing more and more cash pay in coming years. Increased limits on deductibles are de facto cash pay patients. So we're all having to look at that patient from through a different lens. It's not just about my fee that I charge to Blue Cross or whatever is X, and so that I'm going to charge you that. Suddenly this becomes a market-based procedure or a market-based service, and it's going to have to be offered as such, and the patients are going to be acting differently as consumers. So I believe that all physicians are going to be doing more and more cash pay, but those who specifically target cash pay and who look to lifestyle medicine, whether it's anti-aging or cosmetic surgery or LASIK eye surgery or fertility, some of the advanced orthopedics, there's all kinds of different areas that are really mushrooming with the cash pay offerings. All of them are going to need and benefit from having these skills and being able to apply them.
So is it open to any particular types of medical specialties or all?
We have a few requirements because we didn't want to dilute the room too much with residents and that sort of thing. So the participants have to be board certified. That means they've finished their program and they've passed their boards, they've been out for a couple of years. So we want practicing physicians. And as such, the age range is still going to be pretty good. We do want a diversity of ages. We do want young perspectives, senior perspectives. We want cross-specialty perspectives. I think that adds a lot to it. But the common thing that will bind them all is that everybody is going to be engaged in cash pay.
Would you say, Guy, that this is sort of like, I talk about disruptive innovation all the time in business, right? So this is sort of like disruptive education, or what I learned from the future, and you're showing us where the future is and where we ought to be headed.
Well, thank you. I'd like to think so. the disruption behind this model is that we are taking physicians and giving them skills to be entrepreneurs and to be CEOs. The application and the impact of that is going to be very widespread. It's going to involve the way that they run their practice, the way they engage with their communities, and the way that they participate in healthcare development over time. So I think it's going to be a very
And
powerful
physicians can
program.
find out more information online at Physician CEO.
It's physician-CEO, physician-CEO.com. It's also, if they just Google Physician CEO and Kellogg, it'll come up on the Kellogg webpage as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.